I'm still in a dungeon on Comic Book Canon! That's right. I still got the dungeon look going on. I got unpacked boxes right there. I got a staircase that's about to fall apart. It's safe for me. But I do have this Spider-Man up, right? I do have this Spider-Man showing my love for my favorite character of all time. So guys, I'm going to be putting this together. It's going to be my studio. I just don't know when. So honestly, give me as much shit as you want, saying I live in a dungeon and, crack as many jokes as possible. I'm good with that. You know who else is good with that? My good friend and co-host, partner in crime, Christopher. How are you, buddy?
Me and you. Let's see. No. Hold on. I had a whole thing because we got a special guest and I made a song and now I'm blanking. I go live and I blank on it. But it's me and you. All right.
Yeah.
My partner Jeff and Momma Comics too.
Oh, there we go.
I don't know. Coming up with some comic book gold tonight on the Comic Book Canon Show.
For you. Boom. All right. We are on top of it tonight. Listen, I may be in a dungeon, but Chris is in a bathroom. So, and I saw somebody ask in the comments, I have not had time to reply to the comments, why is Chris in a bathroom? It's because his house is, in a little bit of disarray, and we're seeing some progress.
I'm going to get oiled up with some Dial soap for you guys tonight.
Yeah, you have to wait to the end of the show for that. And if you leave, we won't let you back in, just like the club, I think, something like that. I don't know. Anyways, so here we are, Friday night, Comic Book Canon. We got a ton of stuff to talk about. We have a great guest, our first guest in like 6 weeks, Momma Comics. Super excited to talk to her and all of her comic goodness, all that she has going on, because she does have a lot going on. But before we get into any of that, Chris, we have the news. But before we get into the news, my voice just cracked. We're going to get into an A-OK. For one of our audience members, I really appreciate this, who does not want a shout out, so he will remain nameless, but I really appreciate what he wrote to Chris and I here. So he thanked us. He sent some cool stuff, which I'll get to in a second, but if it wasn't for Comic Book Canon, I don't know if I would have started an Instagram account. In turn, starting an IG account helped showcase my YouTube channel more than anything else could have. Well, maybe besides putting out quality content, which he does. Thank you for showcasing all of our books every week. Because of that, I've come across some comics. This is important. I have never heard of, met some new people, and I've always enjoyed myself. Right there. That right there is why Chris and I do it. That he's come across some comics he's never heard of, met some new people, and he's always enjoyed himself. We hope that you guys enjoy yourself too. He sent us some awesome stickers from a place called Heads Up Studios. We have a link down below, but I got a little Harley Quinn right there. They got a unique look here. I got a Loki, digging that one. I really like this one. Superhero Club official member with the Flash. And then this one's my favorite. Chris did not get this one, but we got a 16-bit Boba Fett. Am I right, Chris?
Boba.
Right. Thank you so much for that. You know who you are, and if you want us to shout you out, we will. That person's link is down below, though. So it's one of the many people that we say follow these channels right here. Anyways, all right, Chris, we're just going to get right into it. Let's just get right into the news. You got the first news story. Get to it.
Guys, I went to the movie theater for the first time in a year and a half. First time. Shang-Chi, man. This movie is killing it. I can sit here and talk about my personal opinion on the film, but that's not what we're here for. The movie broke Labor Day opening weekend box office records, folks. Marvel Studios' first Asian-led film, crushing the box office records, reaching the top grossing Labor Day release with the domestic take-in of over $94 million. And as of Tuesday, it had crossed over the $100 million mark. That is absolutely amazing. The film's worldwide take-in for the holiday weekend was $146.2 million. Now, keep in mind, the film has yet to release in many of the global markets, including China. Now, here's the fun fact. Shang-Chi made more during a raging pandemic in its opening weekend than Ant-Man and the Wasp. How about that now?
I am not on my game. No, how about that? Indeed. I mean, I'm surprised it's made this much money. And I think we all know what's going on here. Disney wanted to see what would happen. They took a risk. They took an intelligent risk by, sticking to their guns, not doing a Black Widow release. They were doing, in theater release with all the, the Delta variant rampant, et cetera, and it did extraordinarily well. I guarantee you, if it didn't do well, it would have been on Disney Plus in 2 weeks, and Eternals would have a whole new kind of commitment, because the commitment they've made is that Eternals will be in theaters. So not only that, I'm just super happy that this film is doing well, as long as it's not spreading things we don't want to be spread. But I loved it. I thought it was an outstanding film. So much fun. Action is just off the hook, and I'm excited to see it again on Disney Plus. I probably won't go back to the theater. I did not feel too comfortable myself, but I did see this in the theater, and that was this poster right here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love that IMAX poster. I want to get that for my wall. But
hell yeah.
Speaking of theaters here, I think I hear my daughter sneaking around, so I'm going to give my little news bit right here real quick, and then I'm going to hand it off to you for the last news bit of the week. We have Venom Let There Be Carnage moved up 2 weeks. Now, Chris, do you think this is at all possible related to Shang-Chi? Because I do. That's right. Shang-Chi's success in the theater during a Memorial or Labor Day weekend, during the COVID Delta variant going rampant, shows people that people are interested in going back to the movie theaters. People are interested in living normal lives, as we all are. We all know that. So the box office is there. That being said, Let There Be Carnage moved up 2 weeks. Was pushed from September to October originally, but now it was October 15th. It was scheduled to move back to October 1st. And it's interesting to note that in 2018, Venom debuted earning $815 million at the box office. So that's I guess that's kind of what we call maybe synergy in a way, where it's being released at the same time 3 years later. So listen, I hope it does well too, as long as everybody's safe and does the right thing. That's all I have to say about that. But I'm excited. I'm not excited about this film. Chris and I have talked our thoughts on it. I'm going to see it. I just read somewhere too that it is the shortest Marvel-related superhero film. It's not in the MCU. I don't think it's the MCU, or we don't think it's the MCU, but it could be. Who knows? But it's the shortest out of any film that's been released by a Marvel property. Moving on, though, Chris, you have the next news bit. I'm going to go check on my daughter.
All right. Actually, I'm going to talk real quick before I go into the next news. I just want to say, too, you can... You want to go check? You want to go check on the little one?
I'm waiting for this. I hear things being knocked around. I know she's doing something.
Okay. I just wanted to say that going back to the Shang-Chi film, I think it's interesting because you had mentioned that this was like an experiment. I think that the Black Widow was the experiment. They used Black Widow as an experiment to do the simultaneous, instead of using it on a new movie. That's what you always say, pushing the needle forward in terms of the timeline. So now I think because of the kind of backlash with that simultaneous release, they were able to sit more comfortably pushing this film to a theatrical only release.
I don't know. I think they're testing out two different methodologies here, and I think the one that makes the most money is what they want to do. But Black Widow did pretty well for what they did with that.
Right. So if the release dates were swapped, do you think that they would have did a Shang-Chi simultaneous?
I don't know, man.
Release?
I gotta say, the money that they're waiting to release in China, that money is going to be huge. It's going to be huge, massive, and more than Black Widow. So I don't know. By the way, Heroes of Warren, his first appearance of Shang-Chi, book bumped, or still the same. We'll get to that a little later in the show, won't we?
Yes, we will. All right.
Moving on.
So, just had to touch on that little tidbit, but we're going to move on to some more MCU news, and this MCU news is dear to my heart because I'm a Spider-Man fan and because I love this topic of discussion. So, spoiler warning, not much of a spoiler, but for anybody that hasn't watched this week's What If episode, something happened in it, and it's not going to give away what happened in the episode, but Uncle Ben's name was mentioned. It was finally mentioned in the MCU. There's been so much pushback from fans over the last 5 years since, Tom Holland introduced Peter Parker Spider-Man to the MCU. And there's been a lot of talk that this character has not been, quote unquote, grounded in his comic book roots because, quote, there's no Uncle Ben. Much of this correlates to some who take the notion that Peter's relationship with Tony Stark leading up to Tony's death is Marvel's attempt to replace Uncle Ben. I have always argued against this. I am here to quell the naysayers because while Uncle Ben's name was never mentioned, Peter acknowledges Uncle Ben's death in Civil War by commenting that, you know, his Aunt May has been through so much recently, and in Far From Home, Peter's suitcase has Uncle Ben's initials on it. We know they dropped those, you know, little tidbits there for us as viewers to know that, yes, Uncle Ben exists. He did die. It has impacted Peter. It's happened the same way it's happened in the comic books. But in this week's episode, we did get the name drop. The Wasp was speaking to Peter and asked a question saying, how do you stay so upbeat during times of adversity? And Peter replied by stating, practice, I guess. My mom, dad, Uncle Ben, now Mr. Stark. So he's addressing everyone that he's lost and all of that trauma that he's been through. Uncle Ben. He named his uncle there. So it is confirmed that What If is indeed MCU canon. So you can't argue against that. And on top of this, Kevin Feige has gone on record to say that about Uncle Ben's absence, quote, hopefully the audience can fill in those blanks. So he's even mentioned that he's telling us, guys, look, it's there. So in my humble opinion, to close on this, it should be no mystery that the main reason Uncle Ben's presence hasn't been there is because when Spider-Man was introduced in the MCU in 2016, we had seen that origin story and the death of Uncle Ben play out twice over that last 14-year period, and we had just seen it play out 4 years prior in Amazing Spider-Man, the 2012 Amazing Spider-Man film, right? So by not rehashing the Uncle Ben's death for the third time, it allows Spider-Man to be more fleshed out organically in a cinematic universe that was already developed for, you know, at that point in time, 8 long years. I am a firm believer that Uncle Ben's influence, though, on Peter should be revisited and needs to be more fleshed out moving forward as Peter grows and matures. I think that's definitely needed, but I'm not going to argue against how they did it. I think they've done it exactly how they should have done it. But hey, look, I'm all for an Uncle Ben flashback soon.
Yeah, I agree. Here's the deal. Like, I think you alluded to this fact. Like, we've already seen this before. It was just like, let's just get to Spider-Man already. We don't need to see an origin story. We all know the backstory. Like, we've seen it as recently as 4 years prior to his MCU debut. They did the same thing with The Incredible Hulk, the second MCU film, with starring Edward Norton at the time, but Mark Ruffalo has taken over the role since. But they just quickly rehashed, you know, what happened to him. It was in like the opening sequence. That's it. It wasn't a thing because we all know how the Hulk got his power. So this is kind of similar. I do hope we get a little bit more in depth as to how he's addressed those that loss emotionally, because they haven't really touched upon that at all, other than maybe a line in Civil War, and then also obviously in this What If episode. But yeah, I agree. I think it's great. I think loving that we're seeing seeing that tie in, and I'm really enjoying. On a side note, I'm really enjoying What If. So
yeah, definitely. Me too.
And with that ends our news. We're going to be able to get to our special guest co-host. Granted, she has to pass the interview. I didn't know. We didn't tell her that early. There's a lot at stake here. We didn't really kind of.
Yeah, we've kind of kept her in the dark.
But before we do, Chris, why don't we just say hi to some of these fine people? We got
Let's do it.
Tiger, good friend. Dan De La Torre. I don't think he sent it fresh from the comic shop. If he did, I missed it, and I'm the asshole, and I'm sorry. Mojo Quid, how's it going? Caleb Leland. We got Serge Henderson, Mark Leneker. We got Slots, who I think is Comic Toby. He's trying to trick us. G-Money Rocks. Heroes Reborn. Nukes Comics. Planet Arizona Comics. Como Comic Books. Love ya. Got so many. Johnny Sanchez. Louis Logics, who I think is Comic Book Junkie. All right. Our cover junkie. I don't know. Anyways, whatever. We'll see this. All right. Moving on, though, guys. Moving on. We have a great member of the community. Joining us tonight, we get some stellar guests, and I'm really excited about this one. We got another guest who is just as important a member of this community. You can see her on her own channel. The link is below. She hosts Comic Book Women on Tales from the Flip Side, and she is a 5-star seller on Whatnot. She also has this brilliant quote, right? It's all fun and games until you come across that nightmare of collecting. Now, I really want to know what that's all about, so we'll find out what that nightmare is in a second. Everybody, please welcome Momma Comics, a.k.a. Lucy. How are you, Lucy?
Hi, thank you. Pretty good. Thank you. That was a really nice introduction.
Hey, well, we're just talking about you. That's what it is. So kudos to you. Again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a while. Chris and I have been displaced. We've been dealing with a whole bunch of stuff. And we're starting to get back into our groove, and we're just so happy that you are going to be kicking off kind of what's regular and normal to us, getting back to normal. So great guest having you on here. But what we neglected to tell you is we do have an interview with you now. And you may think of this as just like a sit-down interview, get to know me kind of thing, which it is. But it's also where we decide if you're going to continue on as a guest co-host. So there's a lot at stake here. Yeah, you should be, because we've kicked a few people off. Ask Dan De La Torre, Tom Tormey. The list goes on. We've kicked them.
I've been kicked off my own show, so.
Oh, actually, yeah, Chris did get kicked off as well because we had a quiz for him too. So, that being said, before Chris does a good job with these interviews. Usually he takes the lead, but I have to know. It's all fun and games until you come across that nightmare of collecting. What is your nightmare?
When you, I guess the whole mailing thing that I know many people have problems with. You know, like once it doesn't matter how well it's packed. Sometimes the mailman can just fuck everything up, you know, they just mess everything up. And I bought from somebody in the community something's killing the children number 7, I think it was, and he packed it very well. And if he wouldn't packed it up, like it would have become out a lot worse. But the guy, I live in an apartment, so our mailbox is a whole little square thing, and he shoved the book inside. And it was the middle of summer. I live in the desert. It gets 120 here, and it was the hottest day. And my husband was trying to take this damn comic box, and I felt so bad because literally his foot was on top trying to like pull it out, and like the whole side, like it kind of messed up. So it did mess up the book. But I mean, it is for my collection. I don't care, but still, it has happened a few times. Yes.
Disappointing to say the least. Yes. We've all been there before. We all have those nightmare types of stories. Mm-hmm. But you got through it, I guess. You have it in your collection, and it still has the cover on?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, it has a few ticks in the spine, but oh well.
It happens. Again, if it happens less often than it, if it happens less than it, I don't know what I'm trying to. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yes.
You're in good shape. By the way, you got some fans here. You got HK Wifey. Hey, Lucy. Here is your boring comics. Hey, awesome guest. I watch your YouTube. It's very good. Planet Arizona Comic Book Woman is such a good show. Again, we already knew it was a great guest, but it's good to hear from you too. All right, Chris, let's get to it. Again, Lucy, we don't know if you're going to continue on after this interview, so just be aware of that.
Holy moly. Okay.
Yeah. Jeff and I both had a rough week, so we probably could have been a bit more harsh with the interview. So maybe a bit of a pass there. So we like to talk about things outside of comic books to get to know our guests a little better. We're going to do that. But I think it was very important for us to kind of talk about comics with you today, being a woman in this hobby. And personally, I think that's definitely important. Before we get more into that, though, I just threw that out there for context. I do want to ask briefly, kind of that intro to comic books for you. Was that at a young age? Is it something that you got pulled into later on in life? How did you really get pulled into the hobby?
Well, my husband's boss, he owns, he's a custom cabinets guy. You know, he made this. Let me see if I can. That thing. My husband made that, and he has made many things. But his boss is a huge collector, comic collector, cards, everything. He collects everything. And he was going to open a store, a comic book store. And before he opened, he asked me to do inventory for him. It took me about 3 to 4 months to do inventory of some of his comics, not all, some of the comics. And I just thought like he wanted me to sell on eBay first before he was not planning on opening the comic book store yet. He wanted to just sell on eBay. And just seeing like the comics and the characters that I already knew, and actually see them like their first appearance of the characters on the books. And oh my god, go sit down.
We got an extra special guest.
He loves the attention, and especially sorry if you see him dancing in the back. But yeah, like, so seeing all that, I thought it was very interesting. And not only that, you can actually make money of comics. I just thought it was like, you know, easy. Like I said, I love the movies, and you know, I have always loved the characters, but I didn't realize how it was with the comics, you know. And he started like I started learning from him like that the investment side of the comics, you know, not so much of the like reading, I guess, but first the investment. And a year later, he said he was going to open the comic book store, and he asked me if I wanted to work, and I said yeah. And I have worked in retail for a long time, so I like that. And so I just felt like to be able to sell the product, you have to know the product. Yep. So I already like reading. I used to read books and stuff, like novels and stuff like that. So it was an easy thing for me to get into. And I used to like more DC than Marvel. So I started reading more DC, and then from there, independent comics, and I just kind of fell in love with it. It was so interesting, and the art, and I started appreciating the art, and it just kind of went downhill from there.
Right. That is awesome.
That's a unique story. I don't think I know anybody that's entered the hobby that way. Just kind of like checking it out, helping somebody out, and then like, oh wait, this is awesome. So that's really cool.
Absolutely, I agree. I love that. As a business person myself, I love that you were able to bring those two things together and really find that love for it. So
I just want to say, losing not the reason you won't be invited back again, Dan. We'll talk about it.
All right. Okay, so I want to going back to kind of my introduction of being a woman in this hobby. It's no mystery, that this is a very male-driven hobby and industry. And even this community that we exist in, whether it's be YouTube or just social media in general, very, very male-driven. Being a presence, not only being a collector and a lover of comic books, being a presence in the community, what does that mean to you? Are you conscious of that? And is that something that you kind of, take pride in, or something that you hold to carry yourself in being a I don't want to say role model, or just a spokesperson to say, look, this hobby, this community is for everyone?
Well, when I first started, like especially working at the store, at a comic book store, I will see mostly men. And but once I started my Instagram, I realized that I was finding a bunch of different girls in the community, and I honestly, like, I feel like I follow like probably a little bit more men than women, but it's a lot of girls out there that they're into comics. So I don't feel so alone, anymore once I did my Instagram. I mean, there was like few girls right away that I started following, and I've been following them, oh my God, since 4 years, like now, since I opened my account on Instagram for comics. So I don't, I don't feel like it's not so much men, I don't. Now I see it different, but if I go to the store, like if I go to a comic book store, that's when you see the difference, that there's not many women inside a comic book store. But I don't working in that store, yes, few people did make me feel like I don't know what the hell I was talking about, and don't get me wrong, not all the time, because I'm extremely forgetful. I'm extremely forgetful, Lucy. Seriously.
We can't all know everything, right?
Yeah. I read something and then I completely forget about that character. I don't know, like, I have to redo my research again and stuff
You're
like
not
that.
the only one. You're not the only
Okay,
one.
good. Okay, good.
No way.
I've been reading, I was reading a couple runs, and because of I haven't read a comic book in over 6 weeks. I was reading my Amazing Spider-Man. I was reading the many deaths of Layla Starr. I don't even remember what was going on in them. So when I go back to them, I'm probably gonna have to go back a couple issues and reread.
And then you know what? Another thing too, like when you're reading so many books, you forget what happens and what. You kind of mix them together, and they're like, wait, that happens. But I did have a few people trying to test me, and I guess it passed the test. But I don't care, I don't feel that it's very mailing. The comic book world, it's not so manly anymore, and I like it.
That's good to hear, honestly, because I have a daughter. I'm trying to get her into comics. She seems to be genuinely interested in all these characters and the books. And I got her own short box. She's been putting the books in there, and she likes reading, us reading together. So I don't want her to have to even have a second thought, be like, do I not belong here? I don't ever want her to feel that way.
How old is your daughter?
She's 5.
Oh.
I don't want anybody feeling that way, though. Whoever they are, whatever they are, so that's important. And I know it's still there. It's definitely still there, and it's unfortunate, but especially again, I thought about this before my daughter, but since my daughter's been born, it's even more important to me.
Right.
Yeah.
I think personally too that there's so many avenues opening up that's allowing this, and it's not Jeff, when we talked about this, it's not just gender or race or it's the fact of it's okay because you don't need to be some socially awkward outcast to appreciate comic books and superheroes and all these things. So it's just collectively becoming more accepted. But we know for women, it's been something that's been evolving as well. So Lucy, I do want to ask for if there's any young girls or women, no matter their age, that are watching this, or maybe they're watching this on a replay. If at any point in time, some of them may feel timid, or they feel like, oh man, maybe I'm going to be treated like I'm not going to know as much, or that whatever the case may be. Do you have any words of encouragement to tell them?
Honestly, just go and try it. And if one store treats you like crap, try another store, because not everybody is like that, And I have the stores that I have been, especially here at my town. There's only 3 comic book stores, and 2 of them they're owned by a male. Well, and they're always happy to explain and guide you and recommend things. That's usually the stores that you will go to. They will try to, because they love what they're doing, and they'll, like I said, retail, you want to sell your product, you want to, so I don't get discouraged, go and try it. And now with internet, you don't have to go to a store. You could just read online first, and then if you really like the book, go and find it, or you can buy it online. It's fine, so I think it's like not to give up. Keep trying, till you find the right shop for you.
I agree with you too. I absolutely agree that this community, the comic book community, more often than not is going to welcome different people, whether it's gender or sexuality or race or culture, more often than not. So that is definitely some good words of advice. Like, don't let that one bully on the playground, destroy your perception of
Yes.
all the other kids that might be
Yeah.
willing to, take you in. So
It's everywhere. There's gonna be bullies everywhere. And like right now I was just talking to somebody else from the community. It's like there is few bad apples out there, and you're gonna have those everywhere. So I mean, just ignore them, block them. That's what I do.
Indeed. Yeah, right. Yep. Oh, I've been there so many times. All right. Awesome. I just love hearing the story of how you develop your passion for comic books. But let's dive deeper into Lucy. So we know a few things about you, but let's hopefully dive more into those. One thing, you're currently you were born in Guadalajara, Mexico.
Yes.
Okay, and you moved to Southern California originally and have been there since?
Yeah. I've been here since I was little, but we were back and forth for oh my gosh, so many years. Not till I was 12, we actually like stay here. We didn't go anywhere. But before that, because I have a lot of family still out there. My grandpa, when he was alive, we used to go and visit him and stuff like that. So we will stay a year over there, and then we will stay year over here. So it was a lot of back and forth. It sucked, but still was fun. It was nice, but yeah, I've been here in Palm Springs area since the desert.
Nice, yeah. Desert. Okay, so now you're kind of right in between LA and San Diego, kind of over east of. So I got to ask you, which is the better SoCal city, Los Angeles or San Diego?
I will say San Diego because I don't think there's much traffic compared to LA.
Listen,
Okay.
I was worried about this answer because I lived in LA for 12 years, and if you didn't say San Diego, it would have been over.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just feel like the people think they're a little bit better. I don't go much to San Diego to be neither place. But I have to go with San Diego. I mean, LA is just
better beaches too, right?
Better everything there.
Yeah. Better baseball team.
I don't know.
I'm a Giants fan, so that was a nod to the Dodgers.
Yeah, you have a reason.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask. So being in the desert, it's crazy because I don't know how it's been for you guys, but up in the Sacramento, San Joaquin Valley, like our summer it's been over 100 degrees every day. It was like 93 degrees today. And we're like, oh man, it's cool. You better grab a jacket. But so being in that type of environment, now you are still surrounded. And that's one good thing I think about all of California. You got the desert, but then you got like forests up here and mountains down here. And of course, the beaches aren't that far away. But what do you prefer? Do you prefer forests or deserts?
It's a difficult one. If I have to, I like the desert. The forest, it does creep me out a little bit. All those scary movies I have watched, it happens in forests.
What are you talking about? There's like scorpions and snakes and all that stuff.
I know, right?
No. I've been here almost all my life, and I probably seen. I mean, in our house inside, I never seen one.
Just because you haven't seen one, doesn't mean it's not there.
But it seems like where I'm at, it's very. It's like they call it Coachella Valley, right? And it's like Palm Springs, little towns, and my town, it's like between other towns, so it's there's like little deserts, but there's not so much. So if you closer to like your backyard's a desert, you definitely gonna find snakes and all that stuff. But where I'm at, it's very populated. There's a lot of houses around it, so there's no way that I will find anything like that. And so we're able to avoid it. We have a lot of lizards. Today, one of them scared the crap out of me. It was a huge lizard. So that, and I mean, they're not going to do no harm. So it keeps the bugs away. So.
All right, that's true. But
desert, so man, Jeff, I don't know.
I'm forest all the way, but like,
I'll take a rainforest. I'll take a dry forest. I don't know, man. Deserts. They scare the hell out of me, man.
No.
And I'm super afraid of snakes and bugs and oh my god, those huge roaches that oh gosh, yeah, I freak out. Yeah, I hate them. But I think I'm scared more of forests because you can have bears, you can have
That's true.
bigger stuff. It's gonna be hard to defend yourself. Yeah, we have like coyotes, you know.
Oh yeah.
And bobcats.
Yeah, okay. Honestly, I think this is a toss-up. Let's be honest. This is a toss-up, and it's personal preference.
And if I want the forest, I can just go to the mountains, which is like
there
an hour away.
Yep,
so
it is. You got like a national forest north and south of you, I think.
Yeah, I think so. It's everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's Joshua Tree.
Oh yeah, Joshua.
Right.
Yeah,
so you got a lot around there, and that's good. And Jeff, look, she's kind of like she's repping it, man. I don't know. It'd be one thing if like she didn't live in the desert and she was like, screaming about how the desert's awesome. I'd be like, why are you fronting?
Yeah.
But she's living it. So
heat. Yeah, no, the heat. It's like 100. It has gone to 100. I think this year we hit 124.
Oh,
crazy!
Yes, it is, and it's been humid, and it sucks during summer. Yes, I tell people do not come here during. Yeah, no. But it's only I mean, being bad. It's only like 2 months that it's really bad. But I mean, we're in September. I guess the better weather is coming. So.
Better, 90 degrees, better weather, right?
Well, you know what? It does. Like it gets like 80, and it's perfect. Like it feels beautiful. And if you still want to hit the pool, you could. Like if you want snow again.
Okay. One question I'm not gonna ask in this interview is how much your energy bill is every month. We'll leave that because I know them ACs are running like crazy, but. Yeah. All right. So, okay, bringing it back to your country of birth. There are I've only been to Tijuana when I was young, so I don't know about these spots, but I might want to go one day. So I'm trying to ask you, Cabo San Lucas or Cancun?
Well, Cabo is I think closer, right?
Yep.
So I will go more in. I think Cabo is so Americanized and if you really want to hit more of the culture and stuff like that, go in. Go in. But there's other beautiful beaches that are not very well known, and they are way better. There's oh my god. My aunt, she goes there all the time, and it's close to where I'm at, and it's Mazatlan, and there's other beaches along, so if you can find other places that are not like super like well, it's better. Honestly, the food will be better, the people, everything. It's the crime, I feel like it won't be as crazy because all those the very popular ones, they expect people from other places to go that they have money. I mean, you think it's gonna happen, So
you're making this very difficult for us to kick you off. You're bringing value to the show, and I'm really disappointed. I mean, I went to Cancun and almost got arrested for spring break because I was an idiot. It's another story for another time.
They expect you to act like that, because those places, they are very tourist, So there's other places that you can like. I mean, I don't know if it's because I'm from there, but Guadalajara, I feel like the food is the best, and the people. So
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah,
I'm getting hungry. You know what though? You're gonna kill me. And I've been going. I didn't even get a chance. What did I eat today? A yogurt. I don't even eat dairy, but I had a yogurt. I think that's all I ate, and a banana.
Oh no!
So you're gonna get me real hungry because we're gonna talk about some food next. Now that you bring it up. Oh my gosh, we actually got this in my hotel where I'm staying. Cayundo, this place like right across the street. We've been in this hotel for 6.5 weeks now. I think we've been there like 8 times.
Mhm.
It's
Oh,
good. It's really good. Anyways, so you like to cook, right?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Okay.
My
So
Mexican food, yes.
there you go. Okay. Well, let me ask you this. We're gonna dive into that a little bit. But do you cook? Do you go outside of like your what you know culturally within like Mexican food? Is there
My
any other?
husband's Filipino, so
Oh wow, there you go.
yeah, so I eat a lot of Filipino food.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
so and he's the one who cooks the Philippine food. I
Oh,
love it. But yeah, and I love Korean barbecue.
nice.
That which we're going tomorrow. I'm so excited.
Oh yeah.
I love kimchi. Oh my god, he buys me a big old jar of kimchi, and I just eat it like that. My mouth is
Nice.
watery right now.
Yeah, seriously.
Uh,
Okay,
yeah.
I gotta ask you this. And I don't know if it's obvious, but it gets talked. Both of these places get talked about.
Mhm.
What is less authentic, Chipotle or Taco Bell?
Oh my god. I think both. uh, you know, I want to say Taco Bell
Yeah.
because at least with Chipotle they're actually making the food.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more fresh. I guess they
Mm,
don't have
mhm.
Mexican rice; they have that
Right.
white rice, which we do have our way to make our Mexican white rice, but it has more flavor. This one doesn't have much of a flavor. Um, so they have the salsas and everything that it's a little bit more fresh. So I will say, I guess Chipotle,
You're
but
Yeah.
telling me a place that sells something called a Gordito Crunch is not more authentic than a place that has fresh food?
no,
Gordito Crunch.
no.
It's gotta be like
Well,
centuries
see,
old.
that's
This
a
this thing.
taco. A gordita, like the gordita for us, is not like that. A gordita is open, and you have
Yeah.
your food and top and everything. So it's not. That's Americanized. That was made here.
Yeah.
It's not made in
Listen, I am not a
Mexico.
fan of
So
Taco
no.
Bell at all.
Yeah.
But I am on your side. I'm trying
Yes,
to see what
I
direction you go.
I get
Uh,
Well, let me tell
by the
you.
way,
Go ahead, Jeff. You're gonna say
you're
by
just
the
getting
way.
a few questions here too. By the way,
Oh,
I don't know if we want to
I'm
throw those
checking
in. We don't
catch
want to
up.
listen. You're already honestly. I'm Chris. We should probably talk, but the audience is saying she's passed.
Yeah. Well, we're not done yet.
Thank you.
We are
I know
not
she's not
done
even
yet.
done, and that's the thing. Like that's
We're
what's
not
crazy.
done.
We've never had that. We've had people like actively rooting to kick people off.
Yep.
We've never had the audience
Premature pass.
exactly, and
Aw.
it's infuriating.
Aw.
Well, I
Anyway.
gotta say, I mean, to your point, Jeff, and to their point, this is getting tough because I'm right there. Like, for me as a Sicilian, I can't eat Italian food anywhere unless it's like, they're in the kitchen, like Olive Garden. People think that Olive Garden is this man. It's really bad. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate, it's one thing too. It's like, I'm not saying you can't enjoy Chipotle or Taco Bell,
Mhm.
but don't call it something it's not. Funny thing
Mhm.
about Chipotle though, I did a case study in college, and the owner that started it, actually, because I believe he wasn't from the West Coast, and he moved out to California, and he remembers the first time he went into an actual taqueria and saw how it was set up and how it was made and everything, and he actually modeled Chipotle, at least in the beginning, off of
Makes sense.
that style. But so I give
I
him
could see
credit
it.
for being influenced and inspired. But of course, I think when we talk
Oh, so
about,
he's not Mexican, the guy who made Chipotle?
he's,
He's
I don't
not.
think.
I don't know his ethnicity,
I don't think he is.
but I
Okay.
don't think he is either. I think he's a white dude, but I know he's from America. He
Okay.
was born in America for sure.
Okay. Well, I mean, I could see it because the way they have the food on those things, like when you go to taquerias, they have, your salsas, the way they have it on those little trays and stuff like that, and you kind of fix yourself. So I guess I could see it, and in the back, like the way they cook the meat and stuff like that, and that flat grill thing. So
Hey,
I could see it.
they be skimping on their meat though, man. They make you get double meat to pay double, and they give you like 2 more pieces of meat. I'm telling you, no lie. I've gotten a
Yeah,
burrito
that's
from
not Mexican.
Chipotle, and I've counted the meats. I had a burrito with three pieces of chicken, and these burritos
Oh
are like this: 3
yeah.
pieces of chicken, dude. It's like all I got
Mm-mm.
was that plain white rice and beans, man.
Yeah. See, like out here, that's what I love. Like, there's this place, and they only open like certain days. Like obviously Tuesday for Taco Tuesday. Like I think they're closed on Monday, Sundays, I think. But when you go, like they pack that with meat. Like in this place that I really like this place. They don't use a double tortilla to get you full.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they might break and everything, but they pack it with a lot of meat, and and
Oh
it's like,
God.
especially for Taco Tuesdays, like $1, so it's perfect. I love this place.
So,
But
silver
yeah,
lining in all this, so my wife and son actually picked up some Mexican food from Chewy's taco truck down the street, and it's sitting in the other room right now. So I am tempted to go grab it and just start eating live on show, but
go ahead,
I'm gonna hold
dude.
on.
I
I'm
know
gonna
you
hold
must be
on here.
thinking. Go ahead.
We we have one more little subject to talk about. Because I was, reading a little bit up on you, and you, again, tell me if I'm wrong. You like to dance.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right, all right. So, I got a few questions here. And Jeff, and especially you, audience, she's already passed. No, I don't think so, Jeff. I think this is gonna be.
Yeah, it always is. It always comes down to
Yep.
music, something revolving around music. It always does.
It does, doesn't it?
Okay.
Right. All right. So first off, before I get into these couple of questions, where how do you like to dance? What do you like to do? You like to go to, or you go to the clubs? You just go to a bar? You go to just a local, get together where there's food and drink and dance. Like, what's your vibe?
Well, now, I mean, obviously we can't go out anywhere, but
All right. Oh man,
but even
what a world.
before that, like, my sadly my husband's not a dancer, but I know, right? But it depends what I feel like dancing. If I want to dance, like, because I love salsa dancing and stuff like that, it's just mostly a place that is just for like salsa dancing, and that's it. And what I like about that it's you don't have to like dance with your own partner, like
Yeah.
that community is a little bit
Yeah.
different, and in the way they dance, it's more about the art, like the dancing and all that stuff. So it depends if I want to go to that. If I want to just have like a drinks and dance, whatever, like, yeah, to a bar. Here again, it's not a small town. We don't have right now a club. We don't have. I think there's one. I think it's really small. Um, but we do have like the bars, and they have a little dance floor. So I think it will be something like that.
Yeah.
But I think it just depends what I'm in the mood for.
I dig it, man. Hey, Jeff, she's hitting it again. I used to, I'm a musician and I do hip hop, but I would go. I don't know if
My
you're
husband
familiar with
too.
this, with a salsa. I think they were, they were a fusion salsa with hip hop. They were called Omaya, and they had members from the Bay Area, LA. And I remember going to their shows all the time. And to your point, like, I just used to, with hip hop, like, I'm in the front row, and you're just, but with that music, it's like, I don't know really nothing about, salsa dancing and learning. I've never took a class or watched a, salsa session on YouTube or something, but I would be up there just by myself, and just letting the music,
Yeah.
so.
And it's crazy because there's like different type, like you're saying, there's different type of salsa, there's like, there's also cumbia, which is like, it was like Colombian, I think, and then it just kind of like went Mexico, and there's different ways. Like, and I think I love dancing because my mom and dad were break dancers when they were young. That's how they met, and I think my love for dancing is because like it comes from them. So, and they're also my mom. Oh my God, I used to love seeing my mom dance and my dad, because the way they will get down dancing, doesn't matter what it was, they're really good at it. And Sally. I never learned how to. I was not good enough to be break dance, but I had definitely have the rhythm. And then well, obviously now my kids, if you guys see that I post, well, I haven't posted in a while, but sometimes I post my kid dancing to K. He loves K-pop right now.
Right,
So.
right. Nice, nice.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's talk about some dancers here. So we got two dancers to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Okay.
J-Lo or Shakira?
Ooh. Mm. Oh my God, I love both of them. Shakira, I wanted to be Shakira growing up. But again, they have two different type of dancing. J-Lo's more hip hop and the choreography, like it's a little bit different than Shakira. It's a different kind of dancing. It's hard.
Right.
It's different. But man,
Jeff, have we ever accepted one of these types of answers?
oh, hold on, give me a second. I will
They're not giving us
answer
a
one.
straight answer. I don't think we've ever.
No, we need an either or.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Shakira because I was obsessed with her, and I when I was in middle school, my friends they did call me Shakira because I knew how to dance like her. So I'm gonna go with Shakira.
Killing it.
No, I honestly, I'll be honest, there's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
But we needed an answer from you. That's the thing.
Yeah. Then how about that halftime show in all Slack?
The failure there would have been you not choosing, going either way.
Yeah. No, I know. I had to pick one, but it was tough because again, they're two different type of dancing, but
yeah, they kill it.
This is your make or break, though.
This is it, though. Yeah, there ain't no in between here. This is it. All right, so I don't know if you want to take a minute to say farewell to the chat just in case.
Thank you.
Because I don't know, this might be it. Oh shit! Damn it. Okay, here's the question. Flash dance or dirty dancing?
Oh, dirty dancing.
Wow. And there we go.
The only right answer is Footloose.
For God's sakes, it's Footloose. Kevin Bacon.
Come on, man. Footloose.
Let's let her speak for herself right now. We'll just...
Oh my God, my favorite movie of all time is Dirty Dancing.
It's not going to work out here, Lucy. You've been great so far, but honestly, I don't think you'll bring any more value to this show for what you've done today. Chris is in tears.
I am. I can't even look at the camera.
And I'm gonna say something even worse. You guys are gonna kick me out.
Here we go.
I don't like Footloose. I don't
what?
like it.
What?
I didn't like that movie.
Oh God!
I think I've seen it like once.
Who booked Lucy? Was it you? God!
Oh no!
Footloose!
All right, here's the deal. You have brought value to this interview already in the show, and we haven't even gotten to the comic book parts basically yet. So you've made it. You passed. You are a special guest co-host. The show is yours just as much as it is ours. Take control. Do whatever you need to do. And kick us off if it gets to that point. You're an equal now.
You know what? I'm gonna say, look, okay. I know we're letting her go. We're letting her stay reluctantly, but I was in tears. I'm still hurt and I'm very emotional because when I was a kid, we had the Footloose soundtrack record, and we
Kenny
played it every day, right? And we get in the living room and we put our shoe on, and the song would come on, Footloose, kick off your Sunday shoe, and we like kick it across the room. My cousin was getting hit in the head with the shoe, and, so man, good memories. You know, that's all.
Thank you, Comic Journey. Thank you. Look, you see?
What?
He said Cthulhu's kind of sucks.
He's just trying to start an argument. I know this guy.
All right. Hey, one last question, though, from the audience here. Heroes Reborn had a question, and if I can't find it, I'm going to ask it. He wants to know what book you look forward to, whatever Wednesday it is. What book is that?
Oh my God! Well,
you're currently
that's still
collecting?
one of my books that it's
Oh, so
right here. So
we're going to get to it at Fresh from the
Oh,
Comic Shop,
yes.
Heroes Reborn.
Okay.
All right, that's good. That's good. Make sure that's your last one to keep it suspenseful.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go then. All right, congratulations. You will probably get the Varsity Letter alumnus jacket that we promised everybody that we never delivered. So congratulations again. But right now, Chris, we do this segment, and I always set it up this way. It's a segment everybody loves. That's the only reason they tune in, I feel like, although we have wonderful personalities and wonderful guests. What's it called, Chris? What is it?
Fresh from the Comic Shop.
Live from the pressing salon. Here we are, guys. This is where we ask you, the audience, to send in your fresh gets each and every week. They can be AOKs. They can be mail calls. They can be from your local comic shop. They can be pickups that are 50 years old. They can be pickups that are just 2 days old. Show them off. Hit us up on Instagram. We're going to give you the instructions in a hot sec. But each month, this segment is sponsored by Whatnot. And each month, we give away.
I'm sorry. I can't stop laughing.
What did I do?
Maybe it's because I'm channeling my inner Joker today, but go ahead. Tell them about Whatnot. I'll be back.
Spiel, where you can win slabs from Whatnot just by participating in Fresh from the Comic Shop. And guess what slab we're giving away this month, Lucy? Guess what slab?
Oh, what is it?
Oh, look at this. Would you look at this? That is a 9.2 CGC Darth Vader, number 3, the first appearance of Dr. Aphra. I know it's a 9.2. However, this thing is going to blow up.
Free.
She's good. Exactly. There you go. It's like people complaining about free lunch.
Yeah.
But that book is absolutely going to blow up. So I'm ecstatic we got that. Chris did a great job of tracking that down and making that happen. But here we go. What is Whatnot? Let's first start off with that. And I know Lucy knows what Whatnot is. Can you say that as fast as I do, though? That's the question I have. What Whatnot is? Whatnot combines the safe buying platform of eBay with the video component of Twitch. Their mission is to bring together collectors and enthusiasts to safely buy, sell, and connect. Now, here are the instructions on how you submit to Fresh from the Comic Shop each week. You must be signed up to Whatnot. Our link is below, and if you sign up, you'll get $3 off your first purchase. You must follow Comic Book Canon on Whatnot. Post a pic of your fresh get on Instagram. Tag us at Comic Book Canon, but also, very important here, or else we won't see it, use the hashtag FFTCS, and from there, we will show off your fresh get. Now, a lot of you post 10s, 20 pictures a week. We only pick one. We'll show off that one, but keep sending them in. We enjoy them. We enjoy seeing them. So we're just going to get right into it. Lucy. You ready for this?
Yep, let's do this.
All right, by the way, Lucy is picking a winner or a semifinalist to go up against Comic Demon on Monday.
Sorry, give me 1 second. I need to open the door. I'll be back.
Absolutely. I'm just going to go over what we look for in the three, the criteria. It's presentation, how you compose the picture. Make sure it's a beautiful looking picture. It's also the uniqueness of the book, right? Mm-hmm. Uniqueness of the book. It could be the cover. It could be a rare issue. It could be this or that. Just make it unique. Also, another good attribute here that we take into the criteria is something that means something to you. Give us a story. Tell us why this book means something to you. All three of those things combine to make a great submission. We're going to get right into it right now with Mike Dyson 2099. Oh man, 1 per store. Thank you, variant. I never luck out and get the 1 per store, but I did this time. Thanks the Nerd Store Greeley for holding it for me. This has been a hot book. This has definitely been a hot book, Chris and Lucy. A lot of people have been looking for that book. The Stray Dogs, thank you. It seems like it came out of nowhere. Congratulations, Mike Dyson, on picking that up. Next up, we have Marvel Man 616 Comics, Amazing Spider-Man Annual, on the first appearance of the Sinister Six with Spider-Man No Way Home, hinting at a very possible Sinister Six team-up. I wanted to feature this book, and that is an absolute classic. Congratulations on that. Marvel Man 616 Comics. Next up, we got Into Oblivion. Guys, I love this series. Geiger, this is issue number 6. I absolutely love this series. I say it each and every week whenever somebody submits this, but I really do enjoy that. All right, here we go. This is a good one. I like this one. This guy was a semifinalist a couple weeks ago. Super Rad Comics. I'm working up on finishing my Preacher run and had to make a quick detour to show it off. I've lived in San Antonio my whole life and have been inside the Alamo maybe once, and no, I didn't find the basement. Not sure what he's referring to with the basement, but I'm liking how he's incorporating this book with the actual Alamo. That's fantastic. Right there. That's a presentation. That's what we like to see. Good job, Super Rad. You did a great job with Hydra Man a few weeks ago as well. E. Marvell. Yo, massive ups to the ladies and gents at Sanctum Sanctorium Comics out of Michigan. Stray Dogs issue 1 and 2. Copies of the first print. Good luck finding them anywhere else. Also, can't wait to get my white cover back from CGC Comics with the wife's old boy Tyson. I don't know if his wife's into Mike Tyson. I don't know what that means, but those right there are some really hot books as well. Next up, we got Comic Kong. Something is killing the children. Lucy, you do like this series.
I do.
I don't want to give a spoiler away if that's going to be any of your fresh gets, but Comic Con, Something is Killing the Children, number 11, the Inyuk Lee variant with only 200 sets made. This is extremely undervalued in my opinion, and we know where 2 of them are. Let's just try and track down the other 198. Lucy, you are up with your first fresh get of the week. What do you got?
Okay, let me do this one first. This one, I got this one.
Nice
it's
house.
an exclusive. Oh my god, my kid.
That is a good thing.
Me. Oh, he's showing off his lollipop. This one, it's trying to take the glare. Nice House on the Lake, number 1, exclusive from Bird City Comics. I didn't have the issue number 1, so I couldn't find it anywhere, so I had to order this one from them. But then a nicely awesome friend from the community, he sent me the issue number 1 now. So
that's
now
great.
I have 2. And another one, it's actually
we do one at a time.
One at a time. Sorry. Trying to get ahead of myself.
She's like getting overconfident now. She's totally like, I'm a host
you
now.
told me I'm staying, so
there are rules. There are rules. Anyways, moving on though, we got Comic Ozzy, and I hope you're paying attention, Lucy. We hope you're paying attention because you do have responsibilities. Comic Ozzy, good friend of the show. He is our guest next week, by the way. Scored a really nice copy from my local comic shop. I plan on sending it to the next in the next submission. I guess he's talking about CGC to go along with the others in the PC. A long-term hold till something develops. I love all these covers from this run. Mike, Zach, absolutely. And by the way, we say this all the time, but look at how Comic Ozzy composes his shots. That depth of field is outstanding. We always appreciate what he does here. Moving on, we got Comic Toby, 420, The Punisher. The man capable to battle with and take down organized crime. The Punisher number 1 comes to life with a complete toy run. We're going to take you down, Kingpin. Loving what you got there. That's a classic cover, by the way, as well. Speaking of classic, House of L comic just got today. This is today from CGC. One of my favorite characters' first appearance in the DC, the true Captain Marvel, aka Shazam. That's his first appearance in DC at a 7.0. That is solid work there, House of L. We congratulate you on that. Neighbor to the North. This Fresh from the Comic Shop pickup is dedicated to Chris at Journal Comics. Yeah. Some Watlock goodness. By the way, this is an inside joke. Lucy will explain it to you another time. Watlock. Picked up Marvel 2-in-1, 61 and 63. 61 being the first appearance of her, and 63 being the first mention of the Beyonders in multiple panels. Also grabbed a couple more Warlock, a.k.a. Watlock. Number 1 to stash. Chris will tell you can't go wrong with Watlock number 1. Nukes Comics. This is a gorgeous cover. I mean, gorgeous. I picked up this copy of Amazing Spider-Man 54 from Zeus Comics. It is the stunning Coelho Stormbreakers variant. Artwork like this is what drew me to comic books in the first place. We don't blame you. We don't blame you. Chris, you got your first fresh get of the week. What is it?
All right. So again, I apologize. I'm kind of bending the rule a little bit because I still haven't purchased the comic. It's been like over 6 weeks now. It's killing me, guys. So this is coming from my same month and my comic shop order. So, but I absolutely love this cover. This is Amazing Fantasy #2, the Peach Momoko cover. She gets a lot of hate. Maybe it's like 11 hate. I know sometimes I'm like, okay. But her style, I love her style overall. And I think this one epitomizes her ability to just kind of capture this, you know, not only does she bring in a very rich Japanese art style to her work.
I was gonna say that. Very Japanese.
Yeah, but just her ability to kind of, I love how there's this, you know, very abstract framing of whatever's going on in the picture as well. But this is one of my favorite.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It looks like you took just a blank cover to her and she just sketched on it right there. That's what's really cool about her work. She does a good job with that. Good stuff right there. By the way, I did a disservice to Lucy here by not putting her hand. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Just want to make sure we have your Instagram handle. Y'all need to follow Momma Comics. Am I right? And it's at Momma Comics, but you know, I'm not right there. But everybody follow Momma Comics on the Instagram. Sorry, I didn't do that earlier. All right, moving on here. What do we got? We got Vinny Whitlock with New Avengers #7. This is a variant, a Century variant. It's kind of like the old school kind of setup there. First appearance of Illuminati. He's got 2 of those and a 9.6. I think that's a ratio variant too. Hard to get. Moving on here. I do like this. This is what I'll say is pretty unique here. Arana Escarlata, an absolute gem from my personal collection. A Scarlet Spider pencil sketch by the late Tom Lyle, an amazing Spidey artist who also created the Scarlet Spider costume. That's, right there, perfect example of a unique book because that's only unique to him. So good stuff right there, man. We got Thanos wins with a V, if that makes sense. What if Iron Man lost the Armor Wars? This is What If #8. This is their revival in the late 80s, I do believe. I was totally into this series, and it just grew my love for What If. It's so psyched about the announcement of What If. It's so psyched to be watching What If. I can't believe we live in such a day and age. It's outstanding. SLAB Jr. picked this great Sam De La Rosa sketch up the other day. My first CGC signed series. Great sketch. It really is. That is a fun-looking sketch. Great book right there as well. We got Son of Comics right here. The Many Deaths of Layla Starr 1 through 5 complete set, all A covers. One of the best stories of 2021. Chris, you mentioned them.
I agree.
I have not
read the first 3 issues, but I'm right there with them so far.
I have not read any of them. I have heard nothing but great things.
I'm a little behind on that one too, but I really enjoy it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that, so I'm the only one who has not read it. So, anyways, I will remove myself. But you know what? No, I won't. I'm in control here, and I'm going to show off my first fresh get of the week. Guys, this book I got from Midtown. There's been, honestly, with Shang-Chi coming out, there's been a lot of talk about all of these, kind of superheroes from the Asian Pacific region coming to fruition. And one of these is White Fox. And this isn't her first appearance. It was a Contest of Champions. But this is her first kind of solo series. It's The Future Fight Firsts. I love the cover, by the way.
Nice.
Outstanding cover. So this is going to be one you guys all want to look out for. If there is any sort of announcement. She's also going to be part of the death of Doctor Strange as well. So I would be on the lookout for any of these books. These Future Fight Firsts, Crescent and IO. You've got Swordmaster isn't part of that, but you also have Luna Snow. A lot of good stuff from those characters as well. So you have to look out for those. All right,
that's just the cover A, right?
That's cover A. That's just a gorgeous, gorgeous cover. Absolutely gorgeous. Moving on. By the way, her first appearance is in Contest of Champions #1. Moving on, we got Sicilian Comics, Iron Man 14, first appearance and death of Night Phantom. I love the variety that Sicilian Comics sends us each and every week. This one included. So good stuff right there. We got MCATS 910, Ironheart #1, An Ironheart #2 second print, copies ordered by retailers. I think he said were 920 for that issue 2 second print. These are books as well that you're going to want to be looking out for. I don't see these going down anytime soon. There's also a second print of the first issue as well that I believe was a 1200 print run. I actually got that in a dollar bin, and I was shocked because it was like it's worth over 200.
Wow. I just sold the one at a 10 yesterday on my auction.
You sold one?
It was the one at a 10, yeah. No, for 100. No.
I was about to say 400. Yeah. I mean, she's only going to gain in popularity. She's going to be out in Black Panther 2. Once that happens, I hope we see him in the armor in Black Panther 2, but we'll see. Anyways, Bearded One. We all know he's a Lobo fan. He makes that known each and every week. I told Comic Book Cannon before that I'm not much of a variant collector, but if you put my favorite character on the cover, I will have it, and I'm sure this Fresh from the Comic Shop submission proves that. It sure does. That is a nice collection of Lobo. This guy tries to collect every book that Lobo has ever been in. And here we go. One of our winners here, Tommy Boy Collections. This guy always, guys, take note of how creative he gets. He's not eligible to win because he's already won a slab, but I mean, come on, this guy still brings the heat. This week's pickup was me feeling like a Superman. Action Comics 1 reprints from 1976. The same year I was born, in a 9.8. Took this picture with the trophy I won for an Out of Darkness car show for military suicide awareness. My car took best of show. Out of all the cars that attended, a good show for a good cause, and also first car show with my 1950 Chevy Bel Air convertible. I swear this guy has probably more cars than comic books. Right? But he's always creative in his presentation. And you know who else is creative? It's his wife, who was also a winner of a slab. These guys are ridiculous. And it's funny that literally they're back to back. I take these as they come in terms of time. And back to back. April X Vision, Sorcerers, Voodoo, Witches, Strange Things. All kinds of fall feels in this Strange Academy #1. Had to admire this pick with a fall variant of pumpkin spice draft latte. By the way, I love me some La Colombe. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I love that. So both of those two are not eligible to win, but we truly appreciate the effort they take each and every week to send us creative picks. So everybody take note. Here's one of our semifinalists, though. He's going to go up against the semifinalist, the winner of this week. That's Comic Demon, showing off his classic Hulk versus Things battles in these Fantastic Four issues 166, 167. This fight is up there in great Hulk versus Thing fights. You know it's good when it spans the next issue. Plus, these issues also collect the Marvel Value Stamps B, 13 Doctor Strange, B, 38 Conan the Barbarian. Good stuff, man. Your week before was way more creative. That's why it's in the semifinals. Moving on, we got Raw Dog Comics. Picked up these 3 beautiful books this week. Batman 112, incredible Scarecrow cover. The Nice House on the Lake for cover A. I think he's in the swimming pool drinking a Heineken. And Daredevil 34, absolutely amazing covers. I have to agree right there. But we're going to see another amazing cover, I have no doubt, from Lucy. What do you got?
I'm going to do this one.
That
I got this one not so long ago. I bought it from Whatnot auction. And I got a really good price. And I've been wanting this book for a while. And it's a second print. So I'm finally, I own this one. I own the first run, but I didn't have the second run, but I didn't have the first run. So I'm excited to own this one. Yeah.
That is a beautiful, beautiful cover. I was hoping that I set you up and you would follow along, and you did. You delivered. You delivered, no doubt about that. All right, next up we got Union Josh Comics, Marvel Superheroes #1, the King Size Special, the first reprint of Daredevil #1, featuring the origin and first appearance of Daredevil. Guys, these reprints are really becoming a thing. Obviously, the first appearance of Daredevil is a few bucks, but this is a more affordable option, and we're seeing a lot of that with the Fastest Smile. By the way, with the Fastest Smile, especially, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Facsimile?
Facsimile.
It sounded good to me.
It's been, but you have Ultimate Fallout 4 that came out a few weeks ago, and people are selling this for ridiculous amounts of money because people think it looks super similar to the original.
Right.
Be aware, if you see something that looks too good to be true, make sure you look at all the facts in the corners and everything else to make sure it is the actual first print. Moving on, we got C to the G. Been a while since I last posted. Got some things cooking, but first, out of the box, the Man-Thing number 1 through 3. That's some. Oh, look at that! No, look at that. He took some time to put some shrubbery, or I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
There. That is that's some thinking right there. We dig that.
I love that. Because look, Man-Thing is creeping out of the shrubbery, out of the greenery, and so are the books.
Yep.
But that's a pretty cool shot.
And that's the stuff we're looking for right there. So thank you, C to the G. Good stuff. Nori Jordan picked up a nice bunch of books here. I had a day off and took a drive to a store that often has customers and employees not paying attention to hot books. I got lucky and found 2 copies of Noctera number 1 right on the shelf, which seemed like a good score. Yeah. I also got in some great buys from Whatnot, which I am also proud to display. Hopefully I can find some more good buys next week. I mean, I'll tell you what sticks out to me is the Ironheart. Obviously, Nice House on the Lake, number 1 there too. I'm not too familiar with those Black Widow issues, but that's a good pickup. Good week of books right there from Nori Jordan. Cover Junkies Comics. Lucy, this guy tries to collect every Doom cover. I'm not kidding.
Nice.
Not kidding. And here we go. This is what he's showing off this week. Yep. Nice presentation, I'd have to say. Just another 4 Doom covers. All 4 covers are amazing, but I'm really excited to own Dr. Doom number 9, the Phoenix variant. That is a gorgeous looking cover. Congratulations on that cover, Junkie Comics. Chris, what do you got for your second press of the week? What do you got?
I gotta wonder, and if Louis is in the chat, if there's a new Doom book that has 40 variants, does he have in Doom's on all the covers? Does he buy all 40 variants?
Answer. He is in the chat. It's Louis Logic's, right? It's not covered.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, Louis Logic.
Okay.
Answer.
All right, folks. I brought a cat here with my
nice
fresh from the comic shop. I got my cat. You guys, he made an appearance on the canon. What was that? Last week or the week before?
Last week. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not hanging out today. He's like, I got better things to do. And so this book, again, it came from my my comic shop monthly haul. There's nothing really key about this book, but I've been going so more, at least the last couple of months, on some nice older DC goodies. So I got Brave and the Bold, a nice 15-center Brave and the Bold number 91.
Another
it
Brave.
Just has
nice.
Beautiful, beautiful cover. But you know what's even more awesome than just this book being a cool book and having a beautiful cover? The reason why I picked it is because of the smell. This book just has that smell of bringing you back.
Yeah.
The nostalgia smell. I mean, it's perfect. You know, you're flipping through the pages, and it's funny how we as human beings, you know, our senses and what they do. And the smell of this, I'm telling you, I am a kid again, and it just brings me back. I'm like a 7-year-old kid when I'm reading this book, and it's like I'm right there. So that's why I picked this book.
You had a Brave and the Bold last week too, right?
What's that?
You had a Brave and the Bold last week, I think, right?
Oh yeah, the first appearance of Golden Age Catwoman outside of the Golden Age. Yep.
You remember all the people that said we hate DC? What?
Yeah. What's up with that, man?
What? Anyways, moving on, guys. We jammed through these these audience submissions. I wasn't paying attention really because this is our last one of the week. It's Mark Leneker, but it'll give Lucy some time to figure out see which one she likes as we go through our last books. Mark Leneker, Silver Surfer Volume 3, number 34 and 46, reintroduction of Thanos and then Watlock. No, he spelled it Warlock. Gamora and Pip. Got these a hot minute ago, forgot to post. I know you must be crushed. We are on the edge of our seat with whatever you do, Mark Leneker. This guy, though, he posts books that are 60, 70 years old as well. So, true collector in Mark. Lucy, what is your No,
Oh.
actually, no. Time out. My second fresh kid of the week. Then we'll get to
Oh,
you,
yeah.
Lucy. Again, sometimes Midtown does some cool sales. Like this week, they're doing sales off of back issues that start with C and D, which I've never seen that before. But these were 99-cent issues, back issues of Marvel, and I've wanted this cover because I love it. I'm not a huge JTC kind of action figure variant guy, but this is Miss Marvel #1 action figure variant. I just dug it, man. I just really
For $1?
I got it for 99 cents. Yeah.
Wow.
Shut up!
Yeah.
No way! Wow.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for these guys. Absolutely. I'm not sure if this book will ever get hot or not. It's her second series, not her first series, but it's still a really cool variant. So I really, really dig that. All right, Lucy, what do you got for your third fresh get?
Okay, this one.
By the way, this answers the question of what book you look forward to each and every week.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah.
Or every time.
Yeah, who asked that? Who asked that?
Huh?
Or
Okay. Oh yes, that's
somebody
right.
in the chat
Somebody
asked.
else
Yeah.
did ask. Okay, so this one, since I'm answering a question and then plus my submission, I'm gonna do this one.
Ah,
okay.
The I'm trying to get not the Me You Love in the Dark. This one, this one, it's the Scotty Young exclusive that you had to order from his website. And this one is from Bird City Comics. And then that's kind of like the homage to the what is it called? The Cabin in the Woods. And this one, the soonest I love Scotty Young and Jorge Corona. Like when they did Middle West, they did an amazing job with that story, and I really, really loved it. So when I knew they were gonna work together again, I had a pre-order, and I got issue #1. I got there was no variants, so I was excited that there were some exclusives that I was able to get. I got these two. I have one more also from Bird City Comics, and it was hard to choose, which store exclusive to get, because they also have a Jenniferson and they have other artists, and they're beautiful, but there's so many I could get. But that's one book that I'm excited right now because I love those two artists working together, and the story's really good too.
That's another thing that
Image?
hooks you in. What's that, Chris?
This one, it is Image, yes. Yes, yeah. I love kind of like creepy stories and stuff like that. So this one was kind of like perfect. That this girl like moves into a she's an artist and she moves into a haunted house. She knows it's haunted to kind of give her inspiration.
Interesting.
So that's one book that I'm loving right now. Yeah.
That's definitely a hot book. That's and hot independent as well. And it's nice to see those books getting a lot of people noticing those books.
Yes.
And I'm not into that genre of horror. However, I have been getting into Tanyan, Department of Truth, and I haven't read My Nice House on the Lake yet, but I will be. So that's good stuff. We kind of see where your interests lie in terms of that. That's interesting. We like learning about that.
So yeah, independent comics.
That's great. That's absolutely great. Chris and Lucy, you have to get to work because we're going to be asking you an answer for an answer soon.
Okay.
Chris, your third fresh get of the. Oh, you're not Chris. You're Lucy. Chris, your third fresh get of the week.
All right, I'm moving that aside here. What does that mean?
Oh, we got SLAB.
Okay, so again, this is just I just came back from CGC, so I had already got this book, but it's a fresh get because it came back from CGC. So because of the movie,
nice.
This is Eternals #2, first appearance of the Celestials. I bought this book from mycomicshop.com. Well, I mean, when did I send these off? I sent these off to CGC in May. So I think I bought this around February or March this year. And I paid like less than $40 for it.
Nice.
And they had it as a very good plus, a 4.5. And I said, these fools are tripping. This is a nice book. I did press and clean it. Now, I know that there's some folks in the chat that saw me reveal the grade on my live show. I don't want, so today we're not going to pull the chat. I'm going to pull you guys, Lucy and Jeff. What do you think? They said this book was a 4.5. And again, I pressed and cleaned it. But I would love.
So after your press and clean, I'm going to say a 2.5.
Wait, what?
I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
Oh my gosh. No.
I'm joking.
What you trying to say about my pressing skills?
Well,
no, I'm going to go. I'm going to go 7.5. Now,
look at this immaculate back.
That looks good. I'm going to go 7.5.
Okay, I want to be a little nicer, and I'm gonna say 8.0.
I mean, look at the spine.
It looks good.
Solid.
It looks great. A 4.5, they said?
They call this a 4.5.
They gave you the wrong book.
I pressed and cleaned it.
I want to say an 8. So let's see. I want to see.
Okay, so I always guess before I send them in. I guessed a 9.0. And I was confident. I'm looking at it and I'm confident. I'm like, this book's a 9.0. But then I was like, but they gave it a 4.5. There's no way. I was like, I'm sticking with it. 9.0. That's what I'm sticking with.
Here we go.
So the reveal is.
Oh, shit.
A 9.
Whoa!
Oh, Dan called it. He said 9.2.
Wow.
Dan.
Closer, so I said 8.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
that's good stuff. Congratulations on
really
that.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it was like $36 or $38.
Wow.
I'm blown away by how, and there are lower grade. You can get a book that's like mid-grade that has solid pressable defects that sometimes you can really bump up to a 9.2. But this was a situation where their grading was very, very either wrong or extremely conservative. Because even if I didn't press that book up, it probably would have been at least a 7.0. So I'm just, Hey, I will say, my comic shop, though, they're usually very conservative with their grading. So kudos to them.
By the way, I was joking about the 2.5. Dan De La Torre, a good friend who did not submit a book this week. How long was the turnaround to get your CGC slabs back?
I paid for Fast Track, and I sent them in May, and I got them back like last week. So I was actually impressed once they they're received. I was pretty impressed with how fast the turnaround time was. So I have really nothing negative to say. I mean, yeah, they've. I think they might be in a situation now where they're finally trying to get control of this turnaround time. I don't know. Maybe I just got lucky. I don't know.
Hey, Comic Man Andy just sent books in. He got them back in 21 days.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
no people then.
I know, right?
Look at the thumbnail on his video, and he doesn't look like he doesn't look like he was expecting
He's
that.
fronting. Somebody's getting paid.
Yeah. All right. So my last fresh get of the week is we had this gentleman on, this writer Ron Mars on a few weeks ago.
Nice.
Really nice man. I was really looking forward to this based off of the premise alone. Kind of like these true story books, like Shadow Doctor, outstanding. This one is Almost American #1.
Nice.
Ron Mars. And I was planning on reading this for the show to give you guys a little bit more than I am right now. But I didn't get to read it, and I'm sorry I failed all you. But I'll tell you the premise. It's about Russians who are spying for the U.S. They get brought over to the U.S. when their contract or whatever is done, and the U.S. basically just doesn't give them shit, and they're homeless and having to figure it out on their own. So I find that interesting. Ron is working with the people whose story this is about, and I'm really looking forward to reading that. Based off of that premise alone, it really is interesting, and based off of how much I love Shadow Doctor, I feel like this is going to be kind of the same thing. All right, and right there ends all submissions for Fresh from the Comic Shop. Lucy, can we ask you if you have an inkling or an idea of somebody you think should win this week and move on to the semifinals?
I think two of them that I really like the way they took the pictures. I don't remember the names, but it was, I know that the book was War. What is it? Secret Wars. The one
Secret Wars. Okay, that was Kamikaze.
Yeah, and the
Hold on, I got it for you. I swear. Boom.
Yes, that one. I really like that one.
Kamikaze. Okay.
And also because I just got that book also, but I got that the error one, the Blue Galactus, which
Blue
it took
Galactus.
me a little to notice from Whatnot. Great price too. And I like the men thing too, the way he put it like on the
C to the G.
Oh, C to the G?
Like very creative. Yeah.
All right.
Here we go.
It's between those two. I don't know.
All right. Chris and I may have to come down. So you've given us two to choose from. We'll help you out here. If you're going to ask my opinion, which I guess you are, C to the G. I just really enjoy what he did here. I like the thought that he put into this.
Yeah. I hear you. Love.
And this is going to be awkward because Kamikaze is a guest next week too.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Yeah, I want to pick him just to make him happy before he comes on the show. But I would give it to C to the G on this one, man. I mean, that was very, very, very visually appealing and creative to, I'm brain. I can't speak the
synergy.
Oh my god!
It just looks like a nice picture. How about that?
Oh my gosh, guys! Just slap me.
It's been a crazy summer for everybody here, so it's all good. Anyways, that right there, it's official. C to the G is going up against Comic Demon on Monday. We will have that in our stories for all y'all to vote, and we will have a finalist by Tuesday, and then we'll start a new round next week for Fresh from the Comic Shop. But before we end Fresh from the Comic Shop, Chris is going to tell you one more time how you enter into Fresh from the Comic Shop. Lucy, thank you so much again.
No, thank you, guys.
Putting yourself out there and helping us pick up.
Synonymous.
All right, here we go.
Synonymous.
There we go. There we go.
Sorry, the two were synonymous. The book and his theme. What are we talking about? Fresh from the Comic Shop. All right, again. Download the Whatnot app with the link below. All right. Once you download it, set up your account. Really, really easy to do. And then find us, Comic Book Canon, on Whatnot and follow us there. Once you do that, you do the same basic things that you need to do on Instagram by taking a picture of your fresh get. Make sure you got a unique book. The presentation is great. You put a story behind it. All those things that we look for. Tag us, Comic Book Canon. Oh, and of course, leave the hashtag Fresh from the Comic Shop, FFTCS. You gotta leave that hashtag, or we're not gonna find you. And then again, tag us, Comic Book Canon, on Instagram. And that's all you need to do, folks.
That's all you need to do. Right there ends Fresh from the Comic Shop.
So easy.
It's gonna be a great round next week. Cannot wait. Right now what we do, and this is, everybody loves this segment too. They love all of our segments, Lucy. Can't you tell? Jeez Louise, we are so popular.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, I'm sure you were. Moving on, we got our top 10 hottest comics of the week based off of Cover Price's data. That's right, real data. We are not sponsored by Cover Price, but we take their top 10 list that they release on a Monday, and we dissect it on our show on Friday. But the way we do it, we run through the top 10. But from there, Chris picks his 3 most interesting books from that list and tells you why. Now, interesting does not mean it's good, does not mean it's bad, but it's interesting for a specific reason. And we're going to get into it, the 3 of us. We're going to dive right into this list right now. We're going to have at it, and I'm just wasting time so I can get to the image to bring it up right now, and then I got to read it off. All right, here we go. At number 10, we have Marvel Special Edition number 15. This right here is the first appearance of Shang-Chi. Number 9 is Ghost Rider 28, Midnight Suns. People keep speculating. At number 8, Werewolf by Night is number 1. Werewolf by Night number 1. People are really hot on this book because there is a rumor that there will be a Halloween special with Jake Gomez, the second Werewolf by Night. At number 7, we have New Avengers number 7. This is the first appearance of the Illuminati. I'm not quite sure why it made the top 10 list. It did months ago because there was a rumor that they would be putting this together in the MCU. We shall see. At number 6, we have Spawn 321. Bjorn Baron's Virgin variant, 1 out of 50. That's a beautiful looking cover. Number 5, we have Nocterra, number 1. Number 4, we have Oblivion Song, number 1. Number 3, we have Nocterra, number 1, the Glow in the Dark variant. At number 2, we have Nocterra, number 1, the Jock variant. And at number 1, we have Star Slayer, number 2, the first appearance of the Rocketeer. I loved that movie back in the 90s. I really did, guys. All right, Chris, it's an interesting week. It is dominated by Marvel with a bit of independence, if you want to call Spawn an independent.
Yeah. Can you bring the top 10 up real quick?
Sure thing.
So I just want to say, I usually always give big shout outs to indies, but I'm going to tell you all right now, I don't have any of these option books on my top 3 because quite honestly, I'm going to keep repeating myself over and over, but big shout out to everyone who is bigging up on these books when they get optioned. That's all I got to say about that.
Yep. All right, but moving on, though, you got a lot more to say about a lot of other books.
I sure do.
This first book that you find interesting, everybody should find interesting, because I do.
Man, I'm just so hyped about this book right now. My third pick, number 3, Special Marvel Edition, number 15, first appearance of the Master of Kung Fu, Shang-Chi. We had a movie, folks. I don't know about you, but I saw it, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. First time back in the movie theater in over 18 months. And I think it was an overall hit. Now, let's look at the numbers of what this book has been doing. And then I'll talk a little bit about the movie and what it means for the future of this book. We had a 68% increase in sales. So the increase in sales throughout the week wasn't that much. But keep in mind, there's been a lot of hype on this book for the last couple of months. Since the first trailer dropped and so forth. So I'm sure that increase has been increasing every week. But get this, we had a high CGC 9.8 sale, $20,050.
Jeez.
$20,000 for a 9.8. Are we good? Are we good calling this a Bronze Age, a blue chip key? Can we put this book in the same category as your Hulk 181? In your Tomb of Dracula 10, and in your Amazing Spider-Man 129s. Can we do that, please? All right, check this out, though. And the last record high for a CGC 9.8 was back in June, and it sold for $15,700. So that's a nice big jump there. That's a 20% increase in sales, increase in value, that is. A high raw sold for $1,900. On August 27th. Now, multiple grades. Here's what I want you all to take in. Multiple grades, meaning CGC grades. If the book is graded in a 4.0, 6.5, 8.0, 8.5, 9.0, so forth. There's multiple grades out there that have seen higher sales since or post movie release. All right? But overall, in all the other grades, the book is holding that fair market value that it's been at since the hype of the trailers and the previews and whatnot. I'm bringing this up because I think it is a strong indicator of a couple things. Of one, how well this movie was received. This movie has a 98% Rotten Tomatoes. I know the viewer scores have been just absolutely amazing too. I think this movie is being received extremely well, and I think it's keeping the value of this book there where and look, I know what's it been? Has it been It hasn't even been 2 weeks yet. It was last weekend, so it's been
Yeah,
just 1 week since the release. Yeah, we'll monitor this,
I
but
think I wanted to mention something when you guys were talking about it. I also think because we were, especially my husband, he was so excited to watch it because there was a lot of Asian actors that he's been watching since he was little, and they had worked with Jackie Chan. Like, seeing some
yep,
of those actors
yep,
that that a lot like well me like that I seen have worked with him, and he's the one who mentioned that he feels that they paid a tribute of one of the fight
yes,
scenes, to Jackie Chan. He's
yeah.
obviously he's the one
I
who loves all those movies, and
I
uh,
think, and I want to bring that back to the character being an influence from Bruce Lee, and I think the movie really did. I mean, they touched on, I think it was very well done in terms of representation and representing, the Asian culture in so many different ways. Not to get too deep into that right now, but I just think it was a very well done movie for a character that this character has such a great potential to broaden the audience. I mean the audience in terms of the people wanting the books. We look at what Jim Lee had said. Last year at DC Fandom when he talked about DC moving into that global market, the international market, and it's not just about when we talk about reputation and representation matters, and we know that here in the U.S. and with comic books having such a large fan base and cultural upbringing in the U.S., and we talk about African American, the Black folks in the U.S. and their history, Asian Americans, Latino Americans, all the melting pot that is here, and how we can represent that, even women or LGBTQ or whatever the case may be. This character speaks to that international audience, even outside of the States. And I have a feeling, look, we can look at this book, stereotypically in a generalized sense, and we can look at the ebb and flow of the market and what books like this do when we get a announcement that a character is going to be in a live action or in the MCU. Then we get the actor cast, then we get the trailer, then we get the second trailer, and then the movie drops. And we follow the ebb and flow. And I'm not going to sit here and feed anybody watching or listening the fact that, go buy this book right now because the movie's out and it's having record-breaking sales after the movie released. That means it's not going to, no, I'm not saying that. The Eternals is coming out. Spider-Man's coming out. Blade's coming out soon. We're going to see, we got all this stuff. We got the Marvels coming out. So eventually, I do believe this book is going to ebb and flow because any proper investment and solid investment on any market is going to see that. And I say that all the time. But I think what we're seeing right now, even if this book cools off, does its 45 days, and then it gets pulled to, Disney Plus and so forth. Even though I do feel there's going to be the ebb and flow, I think what's happening right now after the release is an indicator that this book is here to stay. And even with the ebb and flow, this book is from here on out solidified, a Bronze Age blue chip key book. And there's no going back to that. And I think if anybody thinks that this book is going to see an insane substantial drop, I don't think they're really understanding the momentum that this character is going to have moving forward.
Yep.
Yeah, especially for people that are not into comic books and now watching the movie, they're gonna want to find this book. And where they're gonna go? They're gonna go to eBay. So they're gonna try to pay because they don't. I guess they don't know the market and stuff like that. So they're gonna pay good money for it. And like you said, if it's here it's here to stay and it's gonna keep going. So people are gonna want to buy this book.
I think this is a good example. By the way, Serge Henderson saw this in a 50-cent bin a few years ago, and he didn't get it. I think this is just another great example of Feige being able to pick from lesser-known characters and creating hits, knowing and believing in these characters, and then people jumping on these books after the fact. They've been there. Serge Henderson, perfect example. They've been there, but they're not going to be there anymore. They are not. He has made a mark, and he is not. They have not premiered in China yet. Okay, So
Yeah.
he is going to be a global character that will usher in a bunch of other global characters, and I'm very excited about it because it was an MCU film. I get it. I don't know if we're hitting the point of oversaturation, but it felt fresh to me. You know, it felt really good, and I was very happy with how they executed and what they produced. So, again, you know, guys, I agree with you guys 100%. Lucy, people are going to be seeking this who are not huge collectors. This happens all the time. Chris, this is not going to go down. It's not going to have a significant drop. Like, if you want to get on this, maybe wait till it cools off a little bit, I guess. But he's in the future. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, and I don't want to give away spoilers here, but I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a quick cameo in the Eternals, because there could be a connection there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there could be, and we know that he's going to be back in other, you know, no matter what. The only thing, you know, like I said, yeah, you know, you guys, and this is where people I think misunderstand. You know, anytime anything has a slight drop, and you guys you have to remember, fair market value. Excuse me. Fair market value is a moving slide. And even when it's moving, at any given point, it's still only an estimate. And you got to understand, especially with older books and SLAB books, especially 9.8s or higher grades, the census that we have is so small that one sale that's slightly off can move the needle of that fair market value a good amount. So, you know, so say like right now, we just had a high of $20,050 for a 9.8.
Mm-hmm.
Well, say next month another one sells for $17,000. If somebody comes on YouTube or anywhere and says, "Oh, look, see, yep, it's a bubble," or "Yeah, that book wasn't going to stay hot," I'm going to sit and tell you, are you serious? Do you even understand what that means? First off, $3,000 out of a $20,000 book isn't such an extreme drop from a record high. And keep in mind, 17,000 would still hypothetically be higher than the old record high, which was 15,700. So, you know, at a book at that high of price, it's going to fluctuate no matter what. So, again, I don't think this is necessarily a good time to buy when you're looking at a fair market value, because, again, cool-off periods happen. Be a smart and educated buyer, have patience. And I'm going to say this like I always say. I would not go. The 9.8s is where they get me. And I talk about it a lot. I'm not going to dive into it now because we got to go on to my number 2 book. But 9.8s, I would much better try to find a high, even though it's a Bronze Age book, I try to find a high grade raw maybe and pay the money there to try to get those higher grades. Because that's the one thing where I just personally, I'm not. You know what else I would do? Last thing I'll say on this, I pay. You know, and again, I don't know what a 9.6 sold for, but say a 9.6 just sold for $10K. I'd rather buy a 9.6, spend half of what they're spending on a 9.8, crack it. You know, have a few $100s of a budget to try to send it back and forth. I've talked about this before. I'll send it to CGC 8, 9, 10 times, and I guarantee you one of those times is going to come back a 9.8, and I just save myself roughly $9,000 to $10,000. So that's just me, though.
All right, we do need to move on to this next book. Before we do, Vinny Whitlock, hey guys, sorry I'm late. We say this every week. You guys never need to apologize to us. We are grateful for you spending any sort of time with us. So, again, don't apologize, but you should actually apologize for apologizing.
Yes.
To say that. All right, moving on. What is your second most interesting book of the week off of this list, Chris?
All right, my second book is very interesting. It's a positive interesting, but it has a lot in there. And that's The New Avengers number 7. First appearance of the Illuminati. This is an interesting book because I believe it's the buy before the hype train, which is good in my humble opinion, because if you guys watch my channel and you watch my top 10 Bronze Age Marvel or top 10 horror, all these videos that I do talking about these books, you guys know that I often talk, the majority of books that I talk about are what I call sleeper keys, or keys that have potential to blow up, but that are still easy on the average collector's wallet, right? We can sit here and talk about these blue chip keys all day. I talk about books like this because I'm always about being ahead of the curve. So you can look at this book being on this list. Oh, well, it's just speculation. That's the only reason why it's on this. Well, would you rather an official announcement happen and then people go out and pay double or triple or twice what it's selling for now? Just because you waited to get that announcement? Come on, guys. We're always about being ahead of the curve, and we're about finding books that are solid right now before we get any of those announcements or even real official rumors. I know there's been some rumors out there, but they've been very, very minimal. All people are doing with this book right now is saying, oh, I'm seeing things in the MCU happen to where it could lead to this. And hey, that's a smart collector, right? Now let's look at these numbers. It had a 149% increase in sales throughout the week. This is what's weird about this book. The most recent CGC 9.8 sale, $300, and that was on the 8th. That was 2 days ago. The previous high was in August at $339, best offer accepted. So it was a bit lower, but I'm still going to estimate above the 300 range. So probably, similar range here. But get this. Yesterday, a 9.8 CGC sold for $189. That's strange. It's all over the place. Now get this. A high 9.6 sold for $125, best offer accepted on September 4th. On the 5th, a raw copy described as an eBay seller is, oh, this is a 9.6. It was a raw copy. That was just their description. Sold for $130. So a raw copy with the eBay seller declaring it to be about a 9.6 sold for higher less than 24 hours after an actual CGC 9.6 sold for a 125 best offer accepted, meaning lower than 125. The book is all over the place. So this is my advice for you all. There's no reason to jump on this book with the FOMO. There's no reason for me, if I'm in the market for this book and I'm looking to buy a 9.8, which I hardly ever am, I am not going to pay anything close to the $300. Now remember, $300, 9.8 sold for on the 8th. There was a couple other $300 realm ones over the last month, but there was also more than one that was under the $200 mark as well. I'd be very careful even buying this book in raw. I would be careful of eBay right now or online. Go to your LCSs if you want to spec on this book to be ahead of the curve, because hey, we might find out that they do something with Illuminati in the MCU. I can probably guarantee you that there's some shops out there, there's some people selling this book for a decent price and a decent grade that's going to speak to you, and you're going to be able to sit there and be educated on it to where you can sit and say, that's a deal I'm willing to make, and then you can go ahead and make that deal. But these crazy numbers right now, it's too wacky for me to sit and justify paying over $300 for this book. Or even $130 for a raw copy.
I don't understand why it's made it into the top 10 list. It did months ago when there was a rumor or what have you.
Right. A really, really baseless rumor too.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's back. It perplexes me. I don't know if you have any insight on this book, Lucy, as well.
Yeah, no, I have not. I wonder if maybe somebody talked about it on one of the YouTube channels or something. Yep. That they have like some kind of theory, but
exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
By the way, Dan De La Torre just started following you on Momma Comics. I don't know why everybody else isn't at Momma Comics. Make it happen, everybody, or else you're missing out. I'll tell you that right now. But back to the top 10 hottest comics of the week. Our last book that Chris will be talking about. This was interesting. I dig this one, Chris. I really did. What do you got?
It is interesting. And it's the Eternals #2 that I just got back from CGC. I did this last week too. I'm just kidding, guys. My #1 pick was so interesting to me. It was such a nostalgic pick for me.
Yes.
I'm with you, Jeff, because you made a comment on it. My #1 pick is the #1 book on the list, Star Slayer, #2. First appearance of the Rocketeer. let's look at some numbers, and then we'll talk about this book. 173% increase in sales over the week. High CGC 9.8, 565. That's money book. That's money right there. Prior to the Disney announcement, a high 9.8 sold for $330. That's a 71% increase in value in the recent high sale. A high raw sold for 75. So here's the thing. I remember seeing this movie. And I was like in Colorado or something with my family, and I don't know if I think I saw it in a drive-in, but I remember being on this trip with my family and going and seeing this movie, and it was kind of like nothing I ever seen before. It was a bit of a mashup for me between like Indiana Jones meets Dick Tracy meets like your average superhero type of a film, and with like the kind of noir vibe that it had. I really love that movie. I know I watched it again since then, probably a few times. I haven't watched it in a while. Now that I'm talking about it, I want to watch this movie again. But I'm excited about them revamping. I used to be very anti, like, oh, why do they need to reboot something if the classic is so classic? And I'm like, well, guess what? The classic's always going to be there. Let's just tell the story again and see how they do it, and then you can have both, right? I'm excited for whatever Disney's going to do. Disney Plus, I do believe it's a Disney Plus film, not a series, but a full-length feature film. And it's shot this book through the roof. So, again, 71% increase in sales. Again, we're looking at 9.8s here. I'm always going to talk about these 9.8s. Just, I personally would absolutely stay away from them. If you're going to buy a SLAB book, I bet there's some people watching right now when I say this that they're like talking mad crap about me probably when I do the 9.6 thing. Go buy a 9.6, send it to press it clean and send it to CG a few more times. Watch. Yeah. I don't know. That's just
like I always say, don't buy. I don't like to grade my comics. I like to keep them the way they are. So I know a lot of people are different. So
you're saying you don't like to slab your comics, right?
No,
right.
No.
That's fair. You're like a traditionalist.
I mean, the only ones that I did send, and I don't get it why I got it. It's this one, and it's a 9.6. I don't see.
Nice.
I don't know why. I don't see no anything wrong with it. Honestly.
Did you get it pressed?
But no, I just send it. But
that may help.
But I'm not, honestly, I don't care. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, that's to each his own. There's a lot of reasons to do it, not to do it, and everybody's got a different. It does seem that the 9.8s are a hot commodity these days, and those are coming from people that are investing that are outside the hobby too. Like people are really looking, especially when the pandemic started. There are a ton of rich people that just wanted to, kind of invest in something else. And that's
I've been kind of contemplating. I'm like, because I have my prison one, which I like better, and I've been contemplating selling this one. I'm like, after this one, we'll go to Disneyland.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, you're a true fan of the series, and that's what matters. And however so. But going back to this Star Slayer 2, I thought The Rocketeer was magical when I saw it in the theater. I'm not quite sure if it holds up these days. I do remember loving that film, and it's going to be interesting. I don't know if it's a reboot is what they're calling it. Not sure if it's going to be a series or a film or what have you. But again, I'm excited for this, and a lot of people are as well, as you can see from purchasing this Star Slayer #2. So right there, though, that ends the top 10 hottest comics of the week. It'll be a new, interesting list next week, and Chris is going to pick his 3 most interesting books from that list. Man, this show went by really quick, I have to say. And Lucy, we have you to thank. You were the first guest in at least 6 weeks to join us, and we missed having guests, and you were the perfect person to kick it off again. We are super grateful for you being on. What else do we want to say about you before we leave? You have what? You have your
awesome. The other stuff. Just kidding.
we should. Is it Momma Comics and whatnot as well?
Yes, Momma Comics on Whatnot and Instagram, and you guys can find me with Comic Book Woman on Tales from the Flip Side every Tuesday.
Well, links below.
6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we also have the girls and I made our own show, Near Nirvana, and it's also on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram too, and that one's a little bit different. We don't talk exclusively comics. Tales from the Flip Side, it is just comics, and the other one we talked about a little bit about everything: comics, movies, shows. You never know what's gonna come out of our mouths.
Perfect. That's great. We need that. We need that.
Yeah, and tomorrow, that one, Near Nirvana, is Saturdays at 6. I think 6 Pacific Standard Time. I'm the worst.
So 6 p.m. Pacific time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You do, right? Go 6. Yeah. But yeah, make sure to follow us on Instagram too, and you'll see the correct time. But I'm pretty sure it's 6. Sometimes we were moving it to 7. Depends, because Jen, her job was a little bit crazy, so sometimes we'll move it depend on her. And that's why you guys have invited me before, but we used to have our show on Fridays, and we moved it to Saturdays because Jen's job. But yeah, so you guys can find me there on Saturdays.
Well, thankful. We are thankful that you guys changed the night. Yeah. We're very happy that you're on the show again. Very appreciative of you. We are also very appreciative of you, the audience, that takes the time to watch us each and every week. We love doing this show. It's been a crazy, I don't know, what has it been? 18 months, Chris? A year and a half? I don't know. I don't know.
Just about, yep.
We're approaching our 1,000 sub contest. We're gonna make some announcements maybe when we cross 900. So y'all should be following us or subbing us up, as well as Lucy. The link is down below. Follow her on Instagram. Chris, any parting words?
I just want to, piggyback what you said, Jeff. Lucy, thank you so much for coming on tonight. It's been, like you said, the last 6 weeks, although, Jeff and I love our time together. It's been so crazy. So to have you on and to bring in your energy today was great for us. And I'm sure it was great for the audience. I know they were like probably clawing at their own skin, just having to listen to me and Jeff, go at it for the last month and a half. So you were, the perfect guest to have on tonight. I'm so happy that, and again, I don't mean to go back to this. I don't want to make it all about this, but I really believe, and maybe as a man, because I know we talked about earlier that, I think maybe when women do come into this hobby, you guys see that there are so many other women out there. But as a man, maybe we don't see that as much. I don't know if, does that make sense? So
yeah, no, I get you.
I just want to reiterate again on the point that having, you here tonight, knowing that this hobby is for everyone out there because of people like Jeff's daughter, she's 5 years old and can't really watch the show at this point, but I really love the fact that comic books have came such a long way for all peoples. They speak to so many different people all around the world. And like I said, I'm going to reiterate, we have things like cosplay. That's been another avenue that has not only brought in it's brought in more women into the hobby. It's brought in kids and old folks together to come in and enjoy doing something together. So I just want to reiterate, I love how this community can continue to grow and become more diverse. And the people that are bringing, whether through viewership or through people like you having their own channel, and even on the business aspect of it, I think that's awesome. So you are not only an avid collector, a part of this community, but you are a boss business person.
Thank you.
Kind of like you got the infinity gauntlet going on here, so.
Thanks.
Salute.
Also, you've probably gained a few fans from this show, so you owe us big time.
Oh,
big time.
Of course I do.
All right. Well, that is it for tonight. We will be back again next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. until then, everybody, be good to each other, be safe, and have a great week. Peace.